The Earth fleet moved as one organism, surrounding the lead enemy ship. The human vessels fired their main weapons, not energy beams, but special projectiles that shifted between normal space and quantum states. They passed through the enemy shields as if they weren't there. The lead alien ship shuddered as explosions rippled along its hull. Its lights flickered and died. One enemy vessel disabled. Report Captain Choi walked down the gleaming corridor of the Dawn Messenger, Earth's newest diplomatic vessel. At 39, she had spent most of her career in combat roles. Now she found herself leading a very different kind of mission. "Captain, they're ready in the conference room," said her aide, Lieutenant Yoon. Choi nodded and straightened her dress uniform. It felt strange after years in tactical gear. "How many species responded to our call?" "3 so far. More are considering it but fear hegemony reprisals." The conference room doors slid open. Inside waited representatives of 3 alien races that had been under hegemony control for centuries. The Trelawney delegate rose from her seat. She looked like a large mantis with iridescent blue exoskeleton. Her 4 arms moved in what Choi had learned was a gesture of respect. "Captain Choi, we thank you for this meeting," the Trelawney said, her voice clicking through the translator. "For 500 cycles, my people have served the hegemony. We watched your battle at Luna. No one has defeated their ships like that before." Beside her, the Modu representative glittered in the light. His crystalline body refracted the room's illumination into rainbow patterns on the walls. "My world has rich resources. The hegemony takes what they want and leaves us little." The 3rd delegate floated in Admiral Park, stood on the bridge of the ESS Defiance, Earth's largest warship. Through the view screen, she watched the massive fleet assemble. Ships from Earth flew alongside vessels from a dozen alien worlds that had joined the new alliance. They formed the largest resistance force the galaxy had seen in thousands of years. "Status report," Park said quietly. Commander Ryu checked his console. "All Earth ships report ready. Alliance vessels at 95% combat readiness." Park nodded. At 60, she had hoped to retire soon, to see her grandchildren grow up in peace. Now she commanded 2,000 ships against the might of an empire that spanned half the galaxy. "The Imperial Armada has been spotted," announced Lieutenant Jin from Tactical. "They're emerging from hyperspace at the edge of the system." The enemy fleet appeared on the long-range scanners. 3,000 vessels of various sizes, led by the massive Imperial flagship, a vessel 20 miles long with enough firepower to crack planets. Park activated the fleet-wide communication system. "All ships, this is Admiral Park. Today we fight not just for Earth, but for all people who wish to live free from tyranny. Remember your training. Trust your allies. Execute battle plan Thunderbolt on my mark." She paused, looking at the faces of her bridge crew, humans who had trained their whole lives for this moment. "Mark," she said firmly. The Allied fleet split into 3 formations, each heading toward a different star system in a coordinated attack designed to divide the Imperial forces. The massive battle unfolded across space. Energy weapons lit up the darkness. Explosions bloomed silently in the vacuum. Small fighter craft darted between capital ships. From the Imperial flagship, Grand Marshal Day directed his forces with cold precision. He had crushed rebellions on 100 worlds, but these humans fought differently. They were unpredictable, adaptive. "Target their command ships," he ordered his captains. "Without leadership, they will collapse." But the Earth vessels protected each other, their formations shifting and changing like schools of fish evading predators. Admiral Park watched the tactical display as the battle spread across 3 star systems. "Launch the stealth teams," she ordered. Small, nearly undetectable ships slipped through the chaos of battle. Each carried elite soldiers with a single mission: disable the command ships from within. Hours into the battle, alarms sounded on the Imperial flagship. "Intruders in the engine section," reported an officer to Grand Marshal Da. Before he could respond, the flagship's main power failed. Emergency systems kicked in, but weapons and shields remained offline. Admiral Park directed the Defiance toward the crippled flagship. "Open a channel," she ordered. Grand Marshal Day's face appeared on screen. His gray skin had paled, and his three eyes blinked rapidly in what humans had learned was a sign of stress. "Your fleet is surrounded," Park said. "Your command ships are disabled. Surrender and save the lives of your crews." Day's mouth twisted. "You are primitives. How did you do this?" "We are not what you expected," Park replied. "And we never will be." For a long moment, the Marshal stared at her. Then he lowered his head slightly. "I will discuss terms," he said. 3 days later, on the neutral ground of an uninhabited moon, the Treaty of Seoul was signed. The hegemony recognized Earth and its allies as sovereign powers. Old boundaries were redrawn. New relationships began. As Admiral Park looked up at the stars after the ceremony, Captain Choi joined her. "Is it really over?" Choi asked. Park shook her head. "No, this is just the beginning. We've shown the galaxy that freedom is possible. Now comes the harder part, building something better together." Above them, ships from a dozen worlds moved peacefully through space. Where once there had been an empire, a new alliance was taking shape. "It won't be easy," Choi said. "Few worthwhile things are," Park replied with a smile. "But for the first time in 1,000 years, the future belongs to all of us."